With my last solo album, I wanted the audience to discover Carl Philipp, the forgotten harpsichordist of Frederick the Great. Philipp did not compose harpsichord concertos, unlike his predecessor Christoph Nichelmann, a key figure in the development of the genre. This is the subject of our present recording, Harpsichord Concertos in Berlin. This album sees the Ensemble Diderot continue its exploration of the music of the so-called Berlin School, or repertoire directly inspired by it, which began with the Berlin album, devoted to the trio sonatas, and continued with the North German Cello Concertos album, with Gulrim Choï as soloist. Nichelmann had sung as a teenager in the Thomaskirche under the direction of Johann Sebastian Bach, and there are copies in his hand of some of the concertos of the famous cantor. His concerto in D minor is halfway between the style of his master, whose influence is strongly felt, and the typical inflections of the Berlin School. We play also a beautiful concerto by Christoph Schaffrath, a teacher of Princess Anna Amalia, and, as Nichelmann, author of a great number of harpsichord concertos. The first movement of his concerto in C minor is all counterpoint. It is no less than a double fugue for harpsichord and orchestra. Here too one feels the influence of Johann Sebastian Bach, of whom Schaffrath was a fervent admirer. The mood changes with the very festive and sumptuous concerto in D major by Graun. But which Graun? Was it Johann Gottlieb, the violinist, concertmeister of the court? Or was it Karl Heinrich, the tenor and Kapellmeister, who composed and conducted vocal works for the Royal Opera? I would lean more towards the latter, given the very singable and operatic nature of the central movement. And we finish with the slightly later music of Ernst Wilhelm Wolf. Although he spent his life in Weimar, he can safely be considered as a pure product of the Berlin School, where he spent many periods. Here, in this very gallant and spiritual concerto in B-flat major, the influence of his friend and mentor Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach is very tangible. This program takes us on a journey into the 50s and 60s of the 18th century, when hundreds of such concertos were composed and played in the several concert societies that took place in Berlin. This reminds us of the extent to which the city was at one time the birthplace of the new musical style that was to flourish beyond the borders of Prussia. While the harpsichord writing technique is still quite baroque in the fast movements, most of the slow movements are composed in the purest Empfindsamkeit style, full of sensibility and pathos, and offer new possibilities of expression, as well as improvisation of ornaments.
Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. N'oubliez pas de vous abonner à notre chaîne.